kitchen and bath transformations start with AMC Building Materials. AMC Building Materials is a large kitchen cabinet and countertop supplier serving both wholesale and retail customers. AMC offers factory direct pricing on all interior remodeling materials. Most standard items are available for quick payment and pickup right away. AMC Building Materials provides free design and free on-site measurements, along with expert installation by top AMC professionals. Get directions to the new AMC Building Materials showroom, amckitchenslc.org.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Caplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are, and it is such a beautiful day today. We would love to have you stop by our Orem or Lehigh Osmond Design stores while you are out and about enjoying this beautiful weather. We have incredible brand new things arriving on the daily, and we have tons of sales going on right now. So come check it all out. Bring your truck and trailer because you can take it home today, which is always really fun. We also have an interior design special going on right now. It's $99 for a 1-hour consultation. We can come to your home and help you rearrange what you currently have and make some suggestions and recommendations on maybe some ideas that can help you in the future to improve your space. Today, I've been looking forward to the show because we have Jamie Walker. He is the owner of Walker Home Design. He's one of the regulars on the show. Welcome back, Jamie.
Hey, thank you. It's good to be back.
So good to have you. Okay, there are hot topics in the news right now. One being Utah real estate, obviously, is always there. Interest rates, all the good things. But before we go into that, I really want to talk about your Make-A-Wish and parade home that you did last year.
Yeah.
We have to talk about this. This is so cool.
Yeah, largest passive energy house on the planet, built by Cross Construction. Home was designed by Walker Home Design. 15,000 square foot passive energy house.
What does that mean?
So it uses the earth and energy efficient things in all parts of the house. The insulation, the windows, how it's heated and cooled. There's, I believe, 2.5 miles of underground coiled piping, and they use the earth to heat and cool the house.
So is there a heating bill for this house?
No, actually they get $100 rebate every month on their electrical bill.
On 15,000 square feet. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. So big picture, it's great. Not really a good payback time, but if you're a homeowner that cares about certain things, this was an excellent experiment, I guess, on how efficient you can make a big house. Because usually we hear about passive energy with tiny homes and things like that. With this one, during the parade, we actually had a lady that was blind come through the house. And when you have certain sensory things that are not functioning fully, your other senses pick up the slack. So when she came through, she actually looked around, basically like saying, am I really in a new house? Because this doesn't smell like a new house smells. That's how she picked up on how efficient the air was. This house has air scrubbers. Cleanest air in the state is inside that house. Just amazing.
That's wild.
Yeah. So when people came through this house, they were blown away at how energy efficient was, how clean the air was, and they really loved, like you mentioned, our special Make-A-Wish room. And this year, the homeowner came to me during construction and said, hey, do you think you could use this attic space and make a hobbit room? And so anytime we do a parade home, we try to showcase Make-A-Wish, bring awareness to that program, and try to help grant new wishes to kids. And it's gone up in price over the last few years. It used to be $5,000 to grant a child a wish. Now it's up to $7,000. And so we put together a lot of VIP nights and special silent auctions. We had tons of people donate things from Utah, BYU, Art Decor donated some art pieces. I think it's DCS, a hunting group, donated some safari and hunting trips over in Africa. And through all that, plus the great people of Salt Lake and surrounding areas that came through and donated on the QR code, we broke all the records we had planned on, and we were able to raise almost $30,000 for Make-A-Wish.
That's incredible.
Phenomenal. But wait, what's this hobbit room?
So anytime a homeowner, or we do a parade home, we try to create a theme. And this homeowner had a small space. It's up in an attic, built into attic trusses. So most people use it for storage or a hobby room. And the homeowner said, what do you think about hobbits? And I said, I love hobbits. And we literally turned this attic into Bilbo's house. And so you can go on our website, Walker Home Design, and go to Walker Fun Spaces and take a virtual tour of the whole room.
Wait, is the room Hobbit short where you have to duck?
Yep. You go through it's about a 3.5 to 4 foot round door.
Jeff, you would have to crawl into this space for sure.
It sounds interesting, though.
And when you go in, though, it's about 7 feet tall at the peak of the ceiling. So
there you go.
It feels small. The side walls go down to about 3 or 4 feet. And then we had the finished carpenter do some curved beams, and we built some custom windows that are round. They have flickering candle lights behind them, so it feels like when you're in the room, it feels like you're in a house looking outside to these flicker candelabra bulbs. We picked chandeliers. A friend of mine just scavenged all over Facebook Marketplace and others to find relics and barrels, and we built roots coming out through the walls and ceilings, and they've got some pictures of me actually building these out of styrofoam, covering them in concrete, and then our artists coming back and painting them, just like Disney does on their parks.
So out of that, has anybody asked you, hey, could you make me a Hobbit room?
So yes, that
has happened.
It's kind of blown up from that. The original intent is always to try to give back to Make-A-Wish, and that's what we tell people is we want to help different charities. And there's a few different ones we work on. But we're currently working on a new parade home up in Cache Valley, overlooks Bear Lake. It'll be in the Cache Valley Parade of Homes this summer. And this one's kind of fun because the homeowner said, I want something that ties in with Bear Lake. And so if you know me, I like mystery and adventure and escape rooms and things like that. And of course, all things Disney and Universal Studios stuff. So I said, have you ever heard of the Bear Lake Monster? And so this room,
kind of like the Loch Ness Monster, yeah.
It's the cousin to the Loch Ness Monster,
right.
And there's legends that go around it if you do search some of the lore of the Bear Lake Valley area there. But we played off that with pirates, and so we have a whole backstory for this room that you can read about. And then it's not necessarily an escape room, but we have a scavenger hunt inside there with hidden clues and things that lead to treasure, eternal life, and the tooth that we got from the Bear Lake Monster. So.
Okay, Jamie, no one does Make-A-Wish rooms like you do, but even parade homes. I mean, people have these ideas. You make these incredible adventures, incredible grandkid rooms. I've even been to the water tower you did in the backyard. We need to mention that. That's super cool. You made that look like Rapunzel's tower, correct?
It was going to be Rapunzel's. I think the attorney said we can't talk all about it, but it eventually it ended up being Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and the Wicked Queen Castle.
Wait, did Rapunzel sue?
So there was an engineering issue. It's actually a really cool house. You can still drive by this one. They've embellished it a little bit, but it's in Draper right off Fort Street. And they have one of these old, you'll see them all around the Salt Lake Valley and through Utah, old grain silos that were built 100 years ago. And the way they built them, they did all the concrete in lifts, and they didn't incorporate a lot of steel. And when we shot the x-rays to find out what was inside this concrete, the x-rays came back and said, yeah, there's 1/4-inch steel rebar in this. Turns out when we cut part of it to follow some of Draper's building codes, some of it crumbled apart. And so the part that got left, we said, well, let's do this instead of that. But that would have probably blown people away because we had rock climbing walls, indoor theaters, underground tunnels that led from Rapunzel's tower to another little tiny house.
That becomes a theme park at that point.
Yeah, it's so there's a lot of, every time I drive by a silo off the freeway, I'm like, hey, that could be Rapunzel's tower.
Really good. You go knock on the door. Excuse me, can I make a Rapunzel tower in your backyard? I think buyers today are expecting turnkey homes with elevated design. I mean, these theme rooms are all the rage.
Yeah.
Jamie, you were doing it right. How do people find you?
It's pretty easy. Go to our website, walkerhomedesign.com, or you can give us a call, 801-930-9499.
I think that homes that do have themes and that do have these really cool features are selling faster than those that don't, because people walk in and they imagine themselves and the experiences that they're going to have in these homes, and they love to be there. And why not make your home somewhere that you love to be?
Yeah, it's great to escape. So yeah, a big thank you to everyone who came through our parade home this last year. It won tons of awards, and just a big thank you. We couldn't have done it with all the votes that we got, and I know Make-A-Wish is truly grateful for everyone who donated.
And we're looking forward to the themed room in the Cache Valley Parade of Homes. It will be a Bear Lake Monster Pirate Cave scavenger hunt / escape room. That's a lot. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores, here with Jeff Caplan with KSL. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are. If you're out and about today, please stop by Osmond Designs. Homes sell faster when they are staged correctly. And that means scale, that means color, that means the design, all the things. And we're here to help you if you're thinking of selling your home. And the great thing is you can buy new furniture for your existing home. And then when you move to your next home, you take it with you. So you receive, a double bonus of having a great home that will sell faster. And then also having a great home when you move. So keep that in mind. Today we have Jamie Walker. He is the owner of Walker Home Design. And Jamie, you design beautiful homes, so many beautiful homes. It is a competitive market, and I still think that the trend is Utah inventory is still constrained. They're not making land anymore.
Yeah.
And it is what it is, and that's a big thing. Also, a national trend in the news this week is people are doing smaller homes with smarter layouts.
Yeah.
And Jamie, I can't think of anyone that knows more about that than you.
It's like playing grown-up Tetris.
It really
what I tell
is.
people. We've got a whole series of tiny homes. We can talk about that also. A lot of cities and even the state of Utah has passed a Affordable Housing Act, so they're trying to let people rent out their basement or do something for their young marrieds that can get their feet under them to get into the housing market. We have to figure out a way to get the younger people to buy houses that then allow us to upgrade or move up to a production home to more custom, and then maybe an empty nester house. So most of us will live in 4 or 5 houses throughout our lifetimes. But finding land, that's a tricky one, and I get asked that a lot. I teach classes at the home and garden shows, and this last month I just came back from the International Builders Show and taught a class about how to save money, and a separate class on tiny homes and being more efficient with those. But finding land, that's what I'm getting asked a lot. They're not growing any more land. Do I have to go clear out to Stockton or Eagle Mountain? And the answer is no, not necessarily. In fact, if you spend time looking on the multiple listings site, it usually gets picked over by the pros by 5 in the morning. And so what you're seeing in the afternoon is what's left over. A lot of people don't realize you can tear down a house and rebuild. I'm going to tell you a story about that in just a minute. And that's how I built 2 of my houses. New areas that you didn't think you could build on, tear down an old house. The other thing you can consider is finding a bigger piece of land and subdividing it. There's still areas where you could tear down one house, build your dream house, or 2 or 3. We're doing a project in Mill Creek right now where they're taking about an acre that one home was on, tore it down, and they're building 3 homes in there because the family wants to be close to their kids and a friend of theirs. So those are things that can help people. Another one that gets overlooked a lot is the for sale by owner. I found my first house on a for sale by owner. I was tired of apartments. I was in college. My brother and I were ready to spread our wings. And Sunday after church, we drove a few neighborhoods and just looked for something that might pop up. And sure enough, we found a for sale by owner, older lady. Her kids wanted her to be closer to them, and they lived in California. And 7 days later, I had my first house, and I was like, what did I just do? But it launched me into being able to be a homeowner and put me into the market, and it was a great experience.
And don't you think a lot of that is just finding the location that you want to be in,
Yep.
finding the neighborhood, finding the school district, and then walking and seeing what's available, doing that Sunday drive that you're talking about.
Yeah. Pick those 4 or 5 things, depending on where you're at in your life, you'll have different values, right? I've for years tried to get my wife to move up to Heber, and she's like, they don't have a Costco. So that's her number one thing.
True.
And I'm like, but they have a super Walmart, so they're getting close, right?
They're trying.
But yeah, look at those things, doctors, dentists, schools, as you're driving those neighborhoods, and that can definitely, bring it all together for sure.
For sure. Okay, some of the other biggest trends right now are, like you said, the bigger lots, subdividing, custom homes are being built specifically in Holiday in these older neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So they'll buy an inexpensive older home, tear it down, and build a brand new big home.
Yeah, here's a really cool experience that we had last year. A builder came to us and said, there's a house for sale up in Olympus Cove. I want to tear it down and put like a really nice house. It's got views right up to Mount Olympus. And so he said, can you drive by and take a look at it? So I went by, shot some video. They were selling a 2,700 square foot Rambler for $1.1 million. And they had put some paint on it, so it looked new. But he went in, he got it under contract, tore it down, and we had the permit and plans to him within just a few weeks. And he built it that was in November. He finally started building it in February by the time it made it through the city. And by July last year, so 5 months, he had built a 9,000 square foot house and sold it for 3.7, which he cashed out a ton of money on it in 5 months. And the reason I tell that story is because you want to have a winning team. A lot of times I hear builders say, oh, you can't build a house in 6 months. It takes a year. It takes a year and a half. And this guy just blew it away. And it's kind of like thinking of the USA hockey team, right? They have this great team. It's like ballet on ice. Or if you watch F1 racing, they change out the tires and refuel it and put on a new nose cone in seconds. You can do the same thing with housing if you have the right team put together.
For sure. And I always believe that design mistakes cost homeowners thousands, and great design doesn't cost you money. It actually makes you money. Today we have Jamie Walker. He is the owner of Walker Home Design. Jamie, how do people find you?
So check out our website, walkerhomedesign.com, or give us a call, 801-930-9499.
If you are looking at building a home, remodeling a home, or if you need a grandkid area, Jamie Walker is the one to call. Stay tuned. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs, furniture and interior design stores, here with Jeff Caplan with KSL. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Caplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. We're glad you're listening. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are. And if you're out and about today, please stop by our stores. We would love to have you. It's such a beautiful day today. Today we have Jamie Walker. He is the owner of Walker Home Design, and we're talking about maximizing value through design in this segment. Jamie, we've talked about these incredible Make-A-Wish rooms that you do, the parade of homes, buying land, how important that is, even buying homes on land, tearing down the lot or tearing down the home so that you can have the lot to build your custom dream home on.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
So a lot of times people, maybe they can't move and they want to remodel, or they've got a lot of land and they've got kids that don't have a place to stay. They might want to consider a tiny house or an ADU. So a lot of cities, like I think I mentioned earlier, are allowing you to rent out your basement. It seems like every custom home we do now, people are designing a mother-in-law apartment, either for that mother-in-law or for their kids in college or newlyweds, just to give them a little bit of a chance to save some money before they go out on their own. So I started another business a few years ago called Walker Walls, and we basically pre-build wall panels that go together like Legos, and you can build tiny homes. And we right now have, our largest one is about 1,150 square feet. It's a 2-story that's 30 feet by 28 feet, I believe, the footprint, and we can build that for under $300,000. And my experience on the Mill Creek Community Council, I see builders come in and want to develop affordable housing. And so far, they're doing townhomes, but the most affordable townhome is a 1-bedroom, 800 or 900 square foot, and they're selling it for $500,000 to $600,000, and they're calling that affordable. And that just blows me away. And so we've tried to dabble in this tiny home market where we can do kit homes built on a slab on grade in your backyard for under $300,000.
Is there resistance to doing kit homes from communities?
There is in the, like I would say when in Mill Creek, for example, we have Olympus Cove, and there is some pushback on people renting something else up there because of parking, and it's kind of a ritzier neighborhood, and so they don't want people partying and coming and going. But it's still allowed in a lot of areas if you have enough square footage on your land, because a lot of cities put restrictions on lot coverage, height restrictions, things like that could constrain you. If you're already on a tiny piece of land, it might be harder to get something, an accessory built on that. But yeah, sometimes there is resistance.
Okay, let's talk about return on investment, or ROI, for a minute. It's a question I get asked all the time, being an interior designer, and I know as you're designing all these layouts and floor plans for people, that's definitely something that is a hot topic. Kitchens. What's your best ROI for those? What's your advice?
Well, people want big islands still. And as part of that kitchen, right now, I say everybody's loving the scullery or the walk-in pantry. And even our $4 to $6 million homes are minimizing the kitchen where they just have counter and open space and some cabinetry, but they want all the dirty stuff hidden. If you watch, I use scullery because it reminds me of Downton Abbey, where they have the workers back in the back baking the bread and doing all the heavy lifting back in the dirty part of the kitchen. That's where people are even putting their refrigerators or a second freezer, their double oven, another sink, another dishwasher goes back there, and then all the stuff you have on your counter, the toaster, the coffee maker, the blender, the juicers, that kind of stuff, ice makers, all of that can go back in that scullery. I've done a few Instagram reels and posts over the last few months talking specifically about that. But yeah, that's probably the biggest thing people are the must-haves in the kitchens right now for people.
Is that for people who have staff to handle creating the food?
Well, you'd get a laugh out of a lot of the comments on my post talk about, I wish I could have a second kitchen, and they're hilarious. I've learned you don't really go in and try to answer all those comments.
Well,
it's crazy.
If you're using a second kitchen that is just utilitarian, right? It takes the person preparing the food away from the rest of the family, doesn't it?
Well, there's the yes and no. Sometimes when they're doing heavy entertainment, they'll have 2 or 3, like if you're having a Sunday dinner and there's 30 or 40 people over, or you're doing an event, sometimes they're catered and they have a setup area so they're not in everybody's way. And then you can display out on the other islands with a lot of the food. But the dirty stuff happens in the back, and sometimes the prep work and the cooking happens before people show up.
So is this people who say things like hors d'oeuvres will be served in the Hobbit room?
We're seeing more and more people like that.
Let's Utah-ize this conversation a little bit. So recently, I had a mission farewell. So in my back pantry, I put all the extras, right? All the Costco extra chips and cups and plates and all those good things. So it's really a staging area, wouldn't you say?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
And then you bring it all out and it just looks so beautiful, and it's just like magical, like Disneyland. You don't really know what's going on behind the curtain, but that's what I think.
So wait,
most people
Heather,
are using.
You have a scullery?
I call it a pantry, but I could
potato,
call it a
potato.
I could call it a scullery.
I like scullery.
That's pretty fancy, right?
The other thing that I hear a lot from homeowners is the cleanliness. That's really what it comes down to. They want an area that they can get dirty, and I don't want to have to clean it while I'm cooking. If you watch those cooking shows, it kind of gets crazy and messy. And I think a lot of chefs these days want their serving areas clean without having now I got to wash all these bowls that I just got done mixing stuff in. And I think that's probably the bigger reason for having it.
And you can pile all the dirty dishes back there and have your piles of stuff, and then your kitchen just looks so beautiful, right? It's the Instagram, it's the Facebook posts, Jeff, it's all that. Appearing like everything's magical and perfect.
Yep.
So there you go. If you don't have a pantry, you need to look at doing one, or maybe just organizing your home just a little bit better will help you with that. Number 2 is just natural light. I think that is a top 3 buyer want, and I
would say that
it's a
natural
huge priority.
Light, always natural light. One thing you got to remember though is if you have any wall hangings, you got to remember you need some wall. I did have a client come to me one time. He wanted a whole glass house because he said windows are cheaper than framing a wall. I'm like, well, there's some issues with the glass house, so. We fortunately talked him out of the glass house, but
what are the issues?
Lights. Well, you got to put blinds on everything if you're walking around in your skibbies, so there's that. The sun's going to turn it into a greenhouse, I mean,
I had that once.
Yeah.
I had a condo that was all glass around. And it got to about 105 degrees like that. And the blinds didn't help. The air conditioning couldn't take care of it. It was rough.
Okay, so an interior design project I'm working right now is a home in Sundance. And it's right there. I mean, the reason you live in Sundance is because of the ambiance and, that area. And we're ripping out the entire back wall of this home to just put glass, which is going to be amazing. It's right up Jamie Walker's alley. You love stuff like this.
Well, I like... to a certain extent, but I always come back to cost because I grew up building houses with my dad and my grandpa. And like I mentioned before on the show, he was in the Great Depression. And I remember him walking around job sites, picking up bent nails that were left over at the end of the day, hammering them straight, putting them back in his tool belt to use tomorrow. And there's so much waste that goes on in the world today at most of these job sites. I mean, we've literally built playhouses out of dumpster stuff. In fact, when we were up at Bear Lake working on this pirate room, we miscalculated and we needed 2 2x4s for this rickety bridge that we're building inside the room. I'm giving away a little bit of what's in there. And rather than, they don't have any lumber stores in Bear Lake. They have a IFA or one of those, but they don't have lumber. So it was either drive into Logan and back, or I said, why don't you go check the dumpster and I bet you'll find some 2x4s. And sure enough, there were 2x4s there. And so being efficient when you do these big glass walls, engineers like to have at least 2 feet of return on each side, or you have to spend a ton of money on steel framing and Simpson strong walls, and those can be thousands and thousands of dollars if they're not done efficiently and correctly. So yes, glass, but to a certain extent.
Well, and I think building a home the right way from the beginning will save so much time and money, and building a home really can be an exciting process.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also really risky if you don't have the right team that has experience behind them.
Yeah, we always try to ask a lot of questions and make sure that the homeowner understands, who's going to build the best house for them. If the homeowner in their mind wants to build a Honda, to use cars for an example, then they need to pick a builder that's really good at Hondas. What we've often seen is they want a Honda, their budget says Honda, and then they go pick a builder that's great at Ferraris. And they're upset because the budgets don't match up. And so I'll use 3 tiers, like a Honda, a Tesla, or a Ferrari. So find out where you're at in that lineup. And sometimes, believe it or not, the clients will lie. They don't realize it, but they're like, oh, I'm a Honda. And then I'll say, okay, I want to verify that. What kind of car do you drive? Oh, well, it's a Tesla. Okay. What kind of appliances do you have in your kitchen? Oh, Wolf and Sub-Zero. And I'm like, okay, where do you go out to restaurants? And everything they say tells me they're really a Ferrari or a Tesla, not a Honda. And so there's little secret questions that I like to go through with my clients. Make sure we match up a really good team, the right builder, the right designer, the right floor plan, the right square footages. And the reason we're able to do that is because I've actually designed over 4,000 homes in my 30-year career doing this. Walker Home Design, this is our 26-year anniversary coming up. And so experience and interview questions are critical.
Your lifestyle is very, very key when you are considering remodeling your home or building a home. Kids, do you work from home? How much do you entertain are key factors.
Yep.
You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. We have Jamie Walker. He is the owner of Walker Home Design back on the show with us. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores, here with Jeff Caplan with KSL. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are. And we would love to have you stop by. We want to talk about design trends. Warm tones are replacing all the grays. If you have gray in your home right now, consider warming and cozying things up just a little bit. Curved furniture with soft edges is another trend that is hot. And we're also layering lighting. It's critical for mood. I love lamps. I'm obsessed with lamps. In the evenings, I turn off all the can lights and just turn on lamps. And it is so beautiful. Really sets the tone. Last thing is performance fabrics. They're all the rage, and they will hold up to kids and husbands and animals and all the things that you need. You can spill Diet Coke on it for all us women, and it cleans right up. So it's exactly what you need for your home. Staging your home is more important than ever. And I work a lot with Jamie Walker. He is the owner of Walker Home Design. He is our guest on the show. We've been talking about so many fun things, tips and tricks on how to help you remodel your home, build a home, make your home fun with these incredible Make-A-Wish rooms. Jamie, thank you so much for being with us on the show. This has been a lot of fun. Also, we want to give a shout out to Central Bank, who is the sponsor of the KSL Real Estate Show. If you need money to build a home or remodel your home, please consider Central Bank. They have locations all across the Wasatch Front, and they're a local bank. And I love supporting local. I know how hard I work, and I love supporting other people that are doing the same. So thank you, Central Bank. Last but not least, Jamie, let's talk about your keys to success that you always tout on your website and your social media.
Yeah, it never fails when we meet with somebody for the first time. They kind of look scared if they haven't done this before. And I love going through our process with people. We usually start out with a 30 to 45 minute introduction meeting. I have a PowerPoint we go through. And at the end of that meeting, it never fails. People say, gosh, I'm not scared anymore. Having a process in line is so critical for any business. And I see a lot of businesses that struggle because they're really good at their trade. Maybe they're a great plumber or an electrician, but when it comes time to working with a client and communicating with them on how the process goes from step 1, 2, 3, and 4, they struggle with that. And it goes into marketing and finance and all that kind of stuff. And so we spell it out in this initial meeting with clients. If they're thinking about building or remodeling, it's a really good introduction to come and kind of sit down with us and we explain what we're really good at, from economical to build, functional to live in, attractive to look at, to how the process works step by step, all the way through a final set of plans. And we even show a case where we built a house right next to one of our competitors. Both homes were built by the same builder at the same time, using the same subs, same square footage homes. And ours made it through the city a month quicker. The builder built it 2 months faster, and ours cost $100,000 less to build. And who wouldn't want to have an extra $100,000? I mean, there are ways to save money. There's ways to be more efficient. And a lot of times people don't know where to find that, because the secret is in the guts of our plans. There's 30 different tips and tricks that we have inside there that you never see until you meet with us and we show you where those are.
So how much of this entire process is art and how much is science? Because you've talked about window loading and you've talked about a hobbit room over the past hour.
Yeah, I put on different hats. So I'm the architectural advisor. I can't say architect because we're not architects, but I'm the designer in that regard. I do a lot of the sales work. I do 100% of the marriage counseling and social work because you have to be able to navigate all that.
That's a real thing, by the way.
And the structural engineering. I mean, it helps to have somebody who has built homes and understands how all that comes together, because I'm kind of like Willy Wonka looking for somebody else that I can start training to take over this ship. And maybe we'll do that one of these days. here's some 4 golden tickets and come
we
aboard.
could have a contest on this show if you want.
There we go. You know, the answer to your question, Jeff, is it depends on what your budget is, right? Jamie can do economical and he can do Hobbit rooms, depending on what your dream home is and where you are in your life. But there are so many options. If you can dream it, you can build it.
There you go. Walt Disney.
Exactly.
Right there.
Jamie, how do people find you?
So, give us a call, 801-930-9499, and check out our website, walkerhomedesign.com.
And the perfect floor plan for one person may not be the perfect floor plan for someone else, and you do custom.
Absolutely. Asking questions is what I think we're really good at. We don't assume that just because we did this house for somebody else, it's going to work for you. When I first started this company, I drew 20 of the perfect plans for everybody on the planet, and now we have about 1,000 on our website.
So incredible. Thank you so much for being on the show today, and thank you for joining us on the KSL Real Estate Show. We'll be back next week.
We all take good care of the things that matter. Our homes, our pets, our cars. Are you doing the same for your brain? Acting early to protect brain health may help reduce the risk of dementia from conditions like Alzheimer's disease. Studies have found that up to 45% of dementia cases may be prevented or delayed by managing risk factors you can change. Make brain health a priority. Ask your doctor about your risk factors and for a cognitive assessment. Learn more at brainhealthmatters.com.
Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.